What is going on, everybody? Dr. Accurso here. If you are on the line, I'm so happy to be with you tonight. Like always, it's close to Christmas, which is crazy. I mean, didn't this go? But it seems like that, doesn't it? Every year just seems to go faster and faster. So anyway, we are live tonight. Like always, it is 9 p.m. where I am, December 3rd. We are live. If you are on, give us a little chat up in the right-hand side there. Go to your chat box. If you are a new user, Google how to use Google Hangouts. They will give you props and they will give you all the answers that you possibly need. But Karen is going to be slacking me on my phone if anything goes wrong. Like always, if you don't know what Slack is, you can Google Slack as well. It's what our team uses and it rocks. It's awesome. I'm not going to try to explain it to you because I'll butcher it and Karen will laugh at me. Because I don't know if any of you know, but I am technologically challenged. But yeah, let us know if you're here. Like Karen is in the chat right now asking everybody if you're here, put your name in that chat box. We have over 300 people signed up. So I'm super pumped. This is great. I'm really excited to meet everybody. Tony, what's up from Ohio? Good to have you, man. First one to comment. I give you pat on the back. Pat on the back. Hope you're doing good tonight, man. Good to have you on. We are live for everybody who is coming on. I know we're gonna get people just slowly filing in here. Mike, what's up? Good to see you, man. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Shout out. Woo woo. I know I'm gonna get this name wrong, but Face. From Nashville. What's up, man? Thanks for coming on. Chattanooga. Yeah, Carrie. Jenny from Ontario, Canada. We are live. It is 9 p.m. We're a little bit later now, about 9:03, December 3rd. So honored to have you guys on the line, honestly. It's going to be a really exciting call, especially because where we're at right now in this season specifically, all of you know, there's an onslaught of crazy stuff coming at us. Tons of events, tons of crazy food. Sometimes there's stress. Sometimes the holidays end up being a little bit more challenging, a little bit more difficult than we thought with family stuff. I hope that you're with family this holiday season. If you're not, get with friends. If you're not, get with people who love you. Natsuki, oh my goodness, from New York. Natsuki is on the call. So honored to have you, Natsuki. Natsuki is I don't even know if there's a name for her. She does so much, but she helps Dr. Jones over in Japan. She came to our retreat in Florida. She rocked it on a surfboard for the first time. Let me tell you guys this, for the first time, Natsuki got up on a surfboard. I am an avid surfer. I've been surfing for 15 years. I don't even know if I can do this. She stood up on the board and she put her arms out, feet together, and looked up to the sky. Here's the key. On a surfboard in 3-foot surf, which means it was rocking. So her board was going, she's like this. I mean, try to do that when you're like on the ground. It's like really hard. So she's doing that on a surfboard. So anyway, love to brag about Natsuki. Thanks for being on, Natsuki. So good to have you. Everybody, thank you so much. Once again, we're live December 3rd. It is 9:05. Shireen, what is up? Thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time. Thank you for coming with us on this little journey that we have. I'm gonna try to get you guys to bed early. So we're gonna cover a lot of ground tonight. We're gonna cover a lot of topics. Take it in baby steps. Like I always say, that's the key here. So anything that I get into, you can always ask Karen or email Karen if you want to know a little bit more about a topic, and then she can let me know, and then I can, email it out. If you want to ask a quick question in the chat, I know a lot of times we don't have a lot of time though. So if you have a really deep question that you want to ask, then ask it through an email or something like that, and we will always get back to you. So it's December 3rd, 9:06, where I am PM. It is something around 8 o'clock where Karen is, or maybe 9 o'clock where Karen is in Thailand. some of us are just blessed. I mean, that's just the way it is. So really, really honored to have everybody on the call. We are gonna get going. Karen is putting her email in the chat box there. So that's her email if you want to email a question out. Also, I'm gonna be giving something really, really cool away. And so you want to stay on. I will mention it in the middle of the call. Try to stay on till the end. We'd love that, but I know that it gets late and I know we have responsibilities and things. We appreciate you on right now. But if you go to offers on that link on to your right, you will see the offer in there. And definitely click on it and find out more about it. But I'm going to save it because it's Christmas. Some of you are premature present openers. I know it. I know some of you can't even stand to have presents under the tree. You want to open them up 3 days early. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am a saverer, which means that I don't even like to open them on Christmas, as crazy as that is. I remember as a kid, I would save my presents in my room so that I could hold it over my friends' heads that I still haven't opened presents yet. Like, I still have my presents. Like, isn't that horrible? I know it's horrible, but that's who I am. I mean, don't judge me. But some of you, I mean, you're opening your presents like 3 days before Christmas. I think some of you like open your presents on Christmas Eve. Some of you, what's up, Amy from Pennsylvania? Woo! Some of you, you know, you can't wait. So but it's okay. There's no judgment here. We're just, having a little conversation. So it's good. All right. So I'm going to get into the slides, everybody, just so we don't run out of time here. It is 9:08. Thank you so much for waiting. We just have a lot of people that are coming on right now. So I'm waiting a little bit longer. We had over 300 people sign up. So I'm just going to wait for people to file in here. If you're new, tell us where you're from in the chat box to the right there. Would love to have you, explain to us a little bit, like your name and where you're from, because we would just love to hear that about you. People from everywhere. It's awesome. Christmas all over the world tonight. All right. So I'm going to share my screen with everybody. And if you cannot see it, you can let us know, and Karen will yell at me, and then we'll get on with the call. So jolly like Santa, lean like Rudolph, cool like Frosty. 7 hidden energy suckers that always lead to depression, brain fog, and weight gain. And I can tell you right now that this is a serious epidemic in our country. And what the meaning of this webinar is for is I want to maximize your happiness and our happiness, talking to myself. I want to help us understand principles that will allow us to lead lives that thrive. And that is so important. I can tell you just from today, I was talking with Karen, and I was in Barnes & Noble. I tend to go there at the end of my day and just check my email just to change the scenery. And I'm sitting there, and a man started to play a guitar. They had hired him, and he was starting to sing Christmas carols. And to the right of me was a younger boy, or a young man. He was about 18, 19, if I would guess. And basically he was just 1 second. I'm going to pause my story just for a second here, because I want to make sure that everything is working good on my end. Okay, so sorry about that. Here we go. So basically, I started working, and I heard a little bit of whimpering, and I turned around, and he was crying, and he was visibly, just tears pouring down. And you know how in that moment you're thinking you want to give a person privacy. I shouldn't say anything. It could be really personal. You might not want to explain it to me. And then at the same time, in my heart, I'm thinking I want to reach out to this young man. I just saw he was distressed, and especially around these times, you really start to think about just what people are going through, and this is a really rough time for people. And I know a lot of people that I work with, this is something that we address, is just the emotional challenges that can come with the holidays. And so I turned around and I put my hand on his shoulder. I said, "You okay, man?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he just kind of wiped his tears away and kind of like, like I got a man up type thing. And I was like, "Oh, it's okay, man. It's, we're all going through stuff." And so, I just said, "Is everything okay?" And he said, "Yeah." He's like, I'm okay. He's like, "I'm all right." He's just, it's just, I can't believe that we're listening to Christmas carols in a cafe and there's so much disaster and horrific events that are happening around the world. And he's like, and some people, they don't have their kids tonight. They don't have their family tonight because they just went through something crazy. And I just can't believe it. And I was like, wow, that's really deep. I said, you're right. There's a lot of stuff going on around the world right now. And as you guys know, you watch the news, there's always stuff going on, but we've had, this Paris attack that just happened. And then there are, multiple shootouts. Let's see, Karen's saying I lost you guys. So I'm going to go back here and let's see. Let's see, can you hear me right now? Is everything working? So all working good before, but can't see your slides now. Okay, here we go. Let's try that. Sorry about that, guys. So anyway, that should make it better now. So essentially, we talked a little bit about that, and we started talking about, just like what he's been going through. He looked rough. He looked like he maybe was from the streets, had some tattered clothing, and he began to cry again. He's like, I just can't get off this roller coaster, and I was like, well, what do you mean? He said, they've prescribed over 10 medications to me already, and I can't seem to get through this depression. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I was like, is there anything that I can do like in this moment right now to help you? And he's like, no, he's like, just, if you could just keep me in your prayers. And I was like, I said, I'll do more than that, man. He's like, I said, I would love to help you in any way that I can. I said, there are a lot of people going through medication issues. And I said, I actually see a lot of people that go through that. And it was totally a God thing. I wasn't sitting there for no reason, it was definitely something that needed to happen because there are roughly 25 million. Karen's telling me to share my screen one more time here. So I'm going to do that. I apologize, guys. I'm going to share my screen, hit share. Let's see. So tell me, we should be good now. Apologize for that once again. So anyway, point being, there's roughly 25 million Americans on antidepressants. And this young man was having blackouts on his bike. He still is. He has blackouts. He'll be riding on the side of the road and have a blackout. He will hear ticking in his head. And he's already been prescribed 10 medications. And he's 18 years old, right? Something has got to change. And I'll tell you, cultural norm, we are culturally inoculated at birth with things like, you got to go to the doctor when you're sick. You got to take an antibiotic when you have a cold. You got to have a diagnosis, right? These are things that we're constantly inoculated with. And Karen is saying perfect. Woo! Awesome. And these are things that are coming at us full force. And we have to realize that the answer is not more drugs and surgery, because we know that because we have more drugs and surgery per capita per year every year. Yet does the problem get better? No, it doesn't get better. It gets worse. The US is 36th in health. Now, are we blessed to live in a country like this? Absolutely. Do we have freedoms that other people don't have? Absolutely. Do we have one of the best emergency care systems in the world? Hands down. Hands down. But when it comes to getting people healthy, it doesn't work right. There are doctors and nurses, I have friends and myself included, they have, the heart is there, to help people. But if you don't have the right tools in your tool belt, if you just have drugs and surgery, then it falls very, very short. How many have you gotten on a prescription drug lately? Some of you, yes, some of you, no. Pay attention to what the wording that is used in the prescription. Is it in Latin? Yes, it is. Why is it in Latin? Can I ask you that? It's interesting because most of the time, the doctor only knows what that prescription does to the full extent, because for the most part, it's in Latin. So people don't even understand what they're getting prescribed. This young man had a list of 10 medications, most of them in Latin. Most of them, he had no idea what they did, no idea if they were counteracting each other, which they were. That's why he was having all these significant side effects. So it really is crazy what's happening in our culture. But I can tell you that that's the vision and the mission that we have and that's why I'm so excited I'm on a call with you guys, is because we get to do it together, right? Because the more empowered we get, the more we get to reach out to this world, the more we get to sit with people like that young man and say, hey, there is hope outside of this hamster wheel, right? So I want to talk just really, really quickly, just some breaking news. I'm calling it breaking news because I think it's really cool. I want to talk to you about the latest and greatest research out there. Get this, experts had athletes ingest energy drinks and sit for 1 hour. Then they exercised for 15 minutes at 70% VO2 max, which is pretty hard, on a treadmill. They recorded the rate of perceived exertion, VO2 performance. Get this, none of the 4 energy drinks, so popular ones, so I don't need to say names, but these are popular energy drinks, i.e. Red Bull. None of the 4 energy drinks improved treadmill exercise performance or running economy or oxygen consumption whatsoever. Conclusion, energy drinks do not improve exercise performance or time to exhaustion. Isn't that crazy to think about? How many people we know are on energy drinks, or like these bodybuilders that just slam them down, but they're full of toxic chemicals and things that are going to actually be excitotoxins to the brain, which cause a breakdown in neurocomponents from brain to body. Pretty crazy, isn't it? Get this. Another study on green tea said green tea contains catechins, which is, example, maca green tea, that dark green bitter taste. That's the type of green tea they're talking about. In conjunction with a high-fat meal, the production of the compounds that decrease body fat come with consuming green tea. So, for example, you can make and this is great for the holidays, you can make a vat of green tea and sip on it all day. How awesome is that? The crazy part is, knowing my family, it turned into like a sangria with like Sicilian wine or something. So it probably wouldn't be healthy in my family, but you could probably do it in yours. And I think it would be absolutely wonderful. But that is the breaking news. I should have probably hit that slide. This is for the green tea, but I'm going past those. So got to talk about morning routine, right? Morning routine, so important. We hear a lot about morning routine. If you listen to podcasts, if you're reading articles online, morning routine is so important. And it is. One of the things that I do, and this is a powerful strategy that you can use in your own life, is I use what's called ACTS, A-C-T-S. So when I go into, I have a prayer routine that I do each morning, and you may have a meditation routine or something like that. In my prayer routine, I go through 4 things, and it's called ACTS, and that's a great way to remember it. ACTS, adoration, confession, thanksgiving, supplication. And the reason I do that is because I want to take the focus off of myself, and I want to put it on God, and if your higher power, whatever it is that you're looking at. But I want to take the focus off myself, and I want to put it on God. I want to put it on my Savior, and I want the day to start knowing that it is not about me. And then the next thing I do is confession, and I just basically, we're human, so we do things and we make decisions and we hurt people, and we need to recognize that sometimes it's not necessarily meant to where we're not necessarily doing that on purpose, but at the same time it happens. So I give it up to God in the morning, and I just tell him, if there's anything I'm not seeing in my life, if there's any potholes, if there's anybody I've hurt, if there's any buddy that needs me or that needs forgiveness, or I need to forgive anybody, please let me know that. And then I do Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is thanking him for all that I have, because we are so blessed, right? Living in this country, we are so blessed with what we have. And it's so important to focus on what you do have and what you don't have. And so I always just am thankful, ridiculously thankful for the life that I have. If I was living in a cardboard box, I would still have things to be thankful for, because I have my family and I have my health. And Karen and I were just talking about how awesome is it that, health, right? Health is so important. Some of you on the line tonight may not have it. Some of you may have it. Some of you may be searching for answers, but just know this, there is never a finality. There is never a finality. There is always hope. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. And even though you may not have a part of your health, you have another. You can breathe, right? Your heart is beating, right? You have teeth to chew with. You have hands to grab things. You have feet to walk. Whatever it is, we can be thankful. And then supplication. And that's where I ask for things. I ask, humbly for things that, I desire in this life. And so that's acts. It's a really cool thing that you can go through in your morning routine. Here is something that a lot of people do in the morning. We have smoothies, right? And this is probably one of the worst smoothies that you can possibly have right here. And the reason that it is, McDonald's has straightened their act up a lot, and I want to give them credit. Like, they've really tried. And I don't know if it's for the right reasons or not. We don't need to go there, but they've tried. And the problem is that we have a lot of culture thinking that drinking fruit smoothies is good for you. And that couldn't be farther from the truth, because I can tell you that when you are putting a massive amount of fructose, sugar, into your body in the morning, you are sending your nervous system on overdrive. You are raising your glycemic index, and you are causing insulin levels to spike at alarming levels, which will end up crashing your immune system, will end up getting you sick, you'll end up going down a road of brain fog, concentration issues, fatigue, and then the list goes on from there. So I can tell you that having a fruit smoothie, something that you need to change if you're doing that. Definitely start out with green vegetables in the morning, and start out with water, and try to avoid fruit. Eat fruit, but keep it low on the glycemic index. Eat berries. Berries are good. Any type of berry is normally good. Put berries in your smoothie. I have a smoothie video that you can watch on YouTube if you just go to superhumanentrepreneur.com without talking about it, just so we don't take time. It is a video that you can watch, and it is a video that is a skinny fat shake, meaning it's going to burn fat, it's going to increase concentration, it's going to increase cellular transmission into the cell. So it's going to increase that permeability of the cell, which is going to allow nutrients into the cell. And that's what you want. You want your cells detoxing. You want your cells allowing nutrients into them. So really, really important there. While I'm on the smoothie thing, if you're drinking coffee, it has two components that a lot of people don't hear of. It's caffestrol and cowehol. So caffestrol and cowehol, these both affect cognitive performance separately from caffeine. So really cool components of coffee there. You always want to make sure it's organic because that's really important. And if you drink decaf, you want to make sure it's cold water filtered. Normally they call it Swiss cold water filtered. And that's going to prevent chemicals from getting into your coffee. Here's a tip. When you use a superfine filter on your coffee, these super awesome cognitive performing enhancing boosters in the coffee, caffestrol and cowehol, don't get into your coffee. So if you use that fine mesh filter, paper filter, they don't get into your coffee. That's why French press is really, really good to use there. So here's an interesting study I came across: why household dust can make you fat. And this is something that we all deal with. We all deal with dust in our house, right? Some of us more than others. But here's what the research is saying. Materials in house dust that turn on specific proteins in the body. Are you ready for this name? Peroxisome proliferator activated nuclear receptor gamma. Hello, say that 15 times. Try it 2 times. Actually, just try it once. See if you can do it. PPAR gamma, help us out a little bit. PPAR gamma, what they found is PPAR gamma is turned on after exposure to less than 1 milligram of household dust. Houses that have a high amount of this semi-volatile compound, commonly found in indoor dust, they're what are called PPAR antagonists. So, and this was in the Environmental and Science Technology Journal, if anybody wants to know. They can bind to and activate the PPAR gamma, which is involved in fat metabolism and proliferation. Here is another crazy thing. They found more than half of the houses and gyms that they received samples from had this in them. Crazy, huh? So here's a really simple solution. Leave your windows and doors open. Best thing you can do. Leave your windows and doors open. Air the house out. Air it out. Best thing for you. This is something that we all need to start doing. I need to start doing, definitely slowing down and stopping to smell the roses. Stress, physical or emotional, creates pathways for cancer, period. That is, John Hopkins has all this research, and stress is the basis of cancer. It is how cancer starts developing. So important to stop and smell the roses. And really, guys, just especially around the holidays, especially around this amazing, wonderful time, stop and notice people. Something that you can do and that's really easy is just, what I try to work on is I try to compliment people. Just compliment somebody. Walk around like a compliment machine. If I'm in the grocery store, I always say I have to compliment one person. So I'll be walking by somebody and I'll say, man, that's an amazing Metallica shirt. Awesome. Don't like him at all, but amazing shirt. Amazing shirt. But you do stuff like that, and you'll just see people's faces start to change. They just they'll light up, if you're going through, especially in service jobs, if you have a waiter or you have a cashier, compliment them. They're working really hard, and a lot of times there's not much money in that, and a lot of times you deal with some crazy people who jump down your throat for little things like bagging their groceries wrong. So compliment people as much as you can. And you know what that will do? That will rub off on you, which is really cool. And if you're having a bad day and you compliment somebody, guess what? You're not having a bad day any longer, because you're now thinking about other people. It's getting you into perspective, and it's actually speaking life into you as well, which is really, really cool. So, and just so we know, very important, our words become worlds. That means that what you speak, you create. So if you're walking around like a negative atom bomb, guess what? It affects you, and it causes you to sink deeper and deeper and deeper into ultimately lies, things that aren't true, things that we convince ourselves, or maybe someone spoke to us a certain way, or maybe someone talked to you a certain way, and now you believe that about yourself when it's absolutely not true. You can change your environment right now just by speaking words of life. Just by speaking words of life to yourself and to others, you can change your environment. That's the cool part is, sometimes, and I understand, we're all going through different things right now during the holidays, and sometimes they're not the most perfect time. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. But I can tell you this, if you're living this life, you are bound to go through hardship. It's just inevitable. You're bound to go through hardship. You're bound to go through something that knocks you off your rocker and you didn't expect it to come. But what you can do is you can practice encouraging yourself. Sometimes there's nobody around to encourage you. Sometimes it seems like your family's against you. Sometimes it seems like friends are nowhere around. But you know what? God is always here, and you can speak words of life to yourself. You can speak affirmation to yourself. You can encourage yourself. And sometimes that's where it's at. Sometimes you just got to encourage yourself. It's crazy to think, but sometimes you just got to encourage yourself. So just a little something there, because it is very, very important. Words become worlds. So important right now, the sun, right? We're always hearing, get out in the sun, get out in the sun, get out in the sun. And that is true. We do need to get out in the sun. But the fact is that for the most part, if you're trying to get your vitamin D levels up, you're not going to get it by getting out in the sun, especially right now. Especially some of you are like plowing your driveways of snow. I don't even know how people do that. I'm in Florida. I plow sand. That's it. I know I'm spoiled. I know it's just horrible for you. for me, it's pretty good. No, but seriously, I mean, there's problems with sand. You get it in your sandals. It's horrible. But anyway, the fact is that none of us are getting proper sun. And they did a study on 2 doctors from Mayo Clinic, did a study in 2011 on Hawaiian surfers. And they found that less than 10% of them were getting proper vitamin D from the sun. How crazy is that? These were Hawaiian surfers, guys that were out all the time. They do have darker skin, but still, they were out enough to where they should have been getting proper vitamin D. And they did a study on sunscreens as well. That can definitely prohibit the vitamin D synthesis. But for the most part, it's very hard to get your vitamin D levels up. So take a high quality vitamin D supplement. I can't stress that enough. Here's a key. Look at the ingredients of the capsule. Very important. There are a lot of ingredients and fillers that they put into those capsules. If you're taking vitamin D consistently and you're eating the capsule with it, which if it's a liquid vitamin, then you definitely are, it can bioaccumulate in your interstitial cells if you're taking it for a very long time. So please watch when you take supplements that you're paying attention to the ingredients in the capsule, because even if the ingredients inside are organic and amazing and fair trade and all these other things, the capsule can be toxic. Sadly, we have a lot of companies out there that aren't paying attention to their bovine ingredients. So they're getting the capsule from gelatin from a cow, but the problem is that cow is being injected with all sorts of antibiotics and vaccines and all these other things. So pay attention to that, very, very important, but up your vitamin D, especially right now, it's gonna help your immune system tremendously. When we are getting ready to enter into the sleep zone at night, it is so important that we are prepping our bodies for proper sleep. And what that means is you are going through a routine at night. Just like you have a morning routine, you have a night routine. And the reason a night routine is so important is because a lot of times we get home, right? And that tends to be our time, which is great. But if it's a random act, like it's my time, I'm gonna turn on the TV, I'm gonna read a book, I'm gonna go into the kitchen and eat something crazy because I deserve sugar, because I've had a stressful day, whatever it is, it tends to be something so random that you either end up staying up later than you should, watching TV later than you should, or watching TV 10 minutes before you go to bed, which that blue light is extremely unhealthy for cognitive ability and the body's ability to drop into REM sleep. So you should not be watching TV before bed. You should be turning it off an hour before you go to sleep. Also, you should be stop eating 2 hours before you go to bed. And that is so important. So that blue light and that digestive process will keep your body out of REM sleep for a minimum of 2 hours. So that's a big deal. You're losing 2 hours of sleep just by doing those two things. So definitely start a proper routine before going to bed. And here is one oil that you should be using all the time before sleep. And this is what I use constantly. I use frankincense oil. And frankincense oil was studied by the University of Leicester, and they did a study on ovarian cancer and found that just applying and consuming the frankincense oil reduced the tumor by 50%, almost gone, which is crazy. So frankincense is a very powerful oil. They're now doing studies that the wise men back in the day brought frankincense to Jesus, not necessarily because it was of utmost value. I mean, it was very prized back in the day, but because they also knew it was for medicinal uses. So pretty awesome stuff there. Frankincense, rubbing it on the scalp before bed, behind the ears and on the bottoms of the feet, will help actually relax the body and help the brain to go into a neural relaxation phase, which is extremely important for REM sleep. So huge win if you use frankincense at night. So this is the Budwig protocol. Some of you have heard of it, some of you have not. This is a really powerful protocol to use, especially during the winter time, because once again, it is going to boost your immune system significantly. Let me tell you this, when you boost the immune system, I'll ask you a question. Do you increase your antioxidant level in your body? Most definitely. Do you increase the cell's ability to detox properly and get nutrients in? Absolutely. Do you decrease the way that your digestive tract moves food through the intestinal canal and also fights off parasites and bacteria? Absolutely. So this protocol is excellent for not only boosting the immune system, but fighting depression, fighting concentration issues, increasing productivity. The Budwig protocol is very effective. It's known primarily for cancer. It was developed by Joanna Budwig. She's a German biochemist, and she's pretty smart. I would say being a 7-time Nobel Prize nominee does vote you as being pretty smart. So pretty smart woman there. What she found is that cells are electric, and the processing of unsaturated fats causes the cell to lose the electric charge. What she found is that when you have flaxseed oil, when you have cottage cheese in its state that it's always meant to be in, which is that high fat content, non-processed, they're not heating it up to a degree that's killing everything inside of it. When you have these oils and you have these fats, putting the flaxseed oil and mixing it with the cottage cheese, which the cottage cheese is a sulfur protein, the reaction makes oil water soluble, which gets into the cell, which then increases oxygenation, which then fights cancer. Amazing. Look up the Budwig protocol. I can't talk, this is literally a whole topic that I could talk about on a webinar, but the Budwig protocol, extremely powerful to boost the immune system. If you know someone dealing with cancer or abnormal cells at all, they can start utilizing this process. Just be careful, because I don't recommend using low-fat cottage cheese. A lot of people do, but I don't like the processing that they use in accordance with making it like that. So make sure you're using organic, raw cottage cheese. It has all the probiotics and enzymes intact. And you can get that with your local farmer. I get it right now through a guy that's down south. You may not have that. If you don't, then just go for organic. It's the best type for you. Your body already knows what to eat. This is the most powerful thing. Your body knows. If you ask your body, is this good or bad for me? It's going to say, that's bad. That chocolate cake is bad for you. Don't do it. Don't do it. But what do? We're like, no, I want the fat. I want the sugar, right? Because that's your caveman mentality. And it is. We want those high fat, high sugars because our body is geared for that. When our body sees a food source that can provide instant energy, it wants it immediately. So, but just know, your body knows what to eat. Just pay attention to it. When you start eating good things, your body craves good things. When you start eating bad things, your body craves bad things. So this holiday season, make sure that you are really going after your nutrition hard. Meaning, and what I mean by that is food journaling. Food journaling is key, because not only will it help you stay accountable to your food, and you can Google a food journal, it's tons of them come up, but you're writing down what you eat. I do this during the winter seasons because I really want to stay on track with my foods. And I know that I can get off very easily because I'm around family so much. But if I find that, then I'm usually eating before I go to events. And I know that sounds really boring to some of you, but it's true. That's how you avoid a lot of the bad foods, is just you eat before you go. And then, just so you're not rude, take a little bit of each thing, don't take a lot, and that will help you. That will also help with your fat metabolism. If you're eating all these highly dense sugary foods that are highly processed, it's going to end up catching up to you, and you're not going to lose the weight. You're not going to stop the fatigue. It's just going to keep going. Some of these foods in this picture, really, really powerful. And I'm really glad that actually Karen chose this picture, but these are really powerful foods. Cucumbers are a natural detoxifying agent. They're also something that can cleanse the liver and the kidneys. So really powerful there. Basil is a powerful herb. It can detox the brain. It can detox the liver. It is an excellent blood alkalizing herb. Beets are amazing for your body. You know, colorful fruits are essential. You know, you think about colored fruits and beets being a red fruit. So just think, whenever you look at a color of a fruit, that actually can tell you what the fruit does. So red relates to blood, which is lycopene and anthocyanins, cherries, tomatoes, beets. Orange is carotenoids and bioflavonoids. So think skin and eyes, peaches, pumpkins, carrots, things like that. Yellow, here's the funny part about yellow. When I was in my anatomy lab in doctorate school, I would cut open these bodies, and most of the brain tissue and connective tissue is yellow, interestingly enough, right? So a lot of yellow foods are brain foods, brain and digestion. So yellow foods being yellow peppers, bananas, things like that. Green is for bone and teeth. We all know what green foods are. They cover all bases, really. Bluish purple food are antioxidants, which most of us know that. And then white, onions, cauliflower, garlic, mushrooms. Think white blood cells. Really, really important. Think white blood cells. So, by the way, if you're making a smoothie and this just got me thinking because I'm looking at the vegetables, and I apologize if sometimes I'm ADHD on these things because I want to tell you guys everything. So, but just put up with my ranting, but it'll be good ranting. High-speed blending, just so you know, is not good for the nutrient content within your smoothie. And the reason it is because you're breaking down a lot of the nutrients if you're high-speed blending everything. So put your liquids in first. Don't ever put your protein in, and don't ever put your vegetables in and turn it on high speed for a very long time because you'll start breaking down nutrients. Here's a key. Put cold water and vitamin C in there in the blender first as a premix to preserve the nutrients and the antioxidants. So when you do blend all those things together, it will preserve those nutrients just by doing that. Little tip right there. So this is so important, right? I mean, here's the thing. When you think about being in the moment, a lot of us have a hard time being in the moment, right? Because we're constantly thinking like future, like what's all around me, when's my next meal, things like that. We need to slow down, we need to breathe, right? And we need to know that we can't have everything, and that people who are highly successful, highly motivated, people who are thriving in life, they took it in baby steps, and it didn't take overnight to get there. It took decades to get there. So important. My mom used to say, big shots are little shots who just kept on shooting, right? And that's exactly why we're in seasons in life, because the season that you're in right now is important for the season that you're going into. So stay in this season, reminisce in this season, you know, let this season motivate you into your next best season in life, but don't go into that next season yet. Stay here, because you're going to look back on this season and you're going to say, man, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time with the kids. I wish I had more time with my spouse. I wish I was able to make that call to my mom. I wish I was able to, you know, tell my husband how I really felt. I wish I was able to, you know, really stick it to my boss. Just kidding. But you need to just stay in the moment, you know, and be grateful for where you're at, because this season is going to bring you into that next season. But just remain there. Here's a really cool quote. The happiest people don't have everything they want. They make the most out of what they already have. Misery starts when a person looks at the 10% missing and overlooks the 90% blessing. So true, right? So here's a really quick story. So I had a patient named Kim, and she asked me one day, she was, you know, at her wit's end. She said, Dr. Matt, you know, what do I do? I mean, where do I go from here? I've tried everything. And I just asked her, I said, what do you like to do, Kim? She said, well, I mean, what does that have to do with my current situation? I said, what do you like to do? She said, I like to dance. So that's the solution then, Kim. And she looked at me puzzled, and I said, the problem is that you're not allowing yourself to enjoy life. You're too concentrated on all these things that you could be doing. And you need to just start dancing, and dancing helps. I'm going to kind of rush through some of these slides a little bit. But certificate achievement is just an achievement that you could put on your mirror that allows you to see a goal and make it be a lofty goal. Make it be a goal that kind of scares you a little bit. Like, I want to speak to 5,000 people and I want to make $10,000 when I do it. Or I'll tell you what my goal was, very similar to that. I wanted to speak to 100 people and I wanted to get paid for it. And here's the clincher. I was in high school. So that was my goal and I reached it, which is cool. But you know, just make sure you're having lofty goals. Always create new habits. Always create new habits. It is so important to be consistently working on habits. For spinal power movements. So this is really cool. The most significant component that is released from your body is proprioception. It's released from your spine. And these are 4 spinal power movements right here, okay? So if you sit all the way forward in your chair and arch your back and sit all the way, so you're sitting in your chair, arch your back, so you're putting your head towards your knees, and then lift all the way back and now arch your back the other way. So the forward movement is you're making a hump. The backward movement is you're arching your back. Those are 2. The next one is side to side. That's 3. And the next one is grab your wrist with your left hand. Okay. Your right hand is just being grabbed by your left, and turn with your elbows. So turn your whole body. So keep looking at your hands and turn your whole body to the left and to the right. Just by doing those 4 power movements during a break or in the office releases proprioception in your body, which actually improves brain-body connection, which fights fatigue. Really cool there. So here's the problem. Here's what we're getting into right now is the problem is that we don't understand our bodies and essentially how the body works, fights disease, fights dysfunction, and gets us to the goals that we want to get. Meaning, if you're trying to fight fat loss, if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to fight fatigue, if you're in the season right now where you just don't know where to turn because your productivity is at an all-time low, or you're having issues that you can't necessarily get to the bottom of the root cause of, we have to understand how the body works. And it's very, very simple. Your body, if you can understand a toilet, you can understand your body. It's that simple. So your body is plumbing, right? If there is a clog, then that's the key, right? Once the pipes get clogged, oxygen can't enter the cell, toxins can't be removed, and electrical energy is disrupted. It's that simple. And so it really does come down to knowing your body better, knowing specifically what is going on and how to remove that tree. It's kind of funny because I meant to have a tree in the road here, but it ended up being a tree literally growing in the road. So I meant to have a down tree and I wanted to change it. I never changed it. So anyway, you're getting a tree in the road. This should be a downed tree. And when you have a down tree in a road, you could potentially drive around it, right? Or you could try to drive over it. Good luck with this tree. But the fact is, if you don't remove that tree in the road, then essentially you keep hitting the same problem over and over again. And that's why we have so much weight loss resistance and ADHD issues and depression problems and all these different types of cognitive issues going on in our culture, because we are addressing the downed tree. We're not removing it, meaning it's a symptom. So if you're essentially just like going around it or addressing it with maybe like trying to build a road over it, or getting some guy with a flag to stand in front of it and wave a flag, AKA taking supplements for it or taking medications for it or having surgery, removing it, it still doesn't fix the problem. And the problem is there is a clog, there's something that's blocking healing. And that's why it is so important to address the cause. And the cause comes down to inflammation. This was a Time magazine. Inflammation is the cause of 21st century disease. If you're not addressing the inflammation that's causing a downregulation of brain-body communication and causing the body to essentially not be able to detox itself and push toxins out and get nutrients in, then you're leaving the tree in the road. Your cell is a bucket, remember? That bucket starts filling up with all types of things, medications, supplements, different types of, essential oils. You can put anything you want in that bucket. If you don't actually clear the detoxification pathways from the thyroid, the liver, the intestinal tract, then you're leaving that bucket full, and then all of a sudden it starts to overflow, and that's symptoms. I talked about that in the last webinar. Can't really get into it a lot, but that is essential. There's one thing that you can know about your body, and that is if it is deficient in something, it's going to let you know, right? How do you know it's deficient in something? That's the question. The answer is having the proper testing done. And I grew up in a family where we didn't go to doctors. We had nothing to do with doctors. My mom was anti-doctor, and what I found now is that she was anti-doctor because she knew that there was only pill, potion, and lotion that they were going to throw at us, right? And we lived an amazing holistic lifestyle, and I'm blessed for it because I don't remember ever being sick for more than 3 days, and I've never been on medication before. I've never even taken an Advil before, and I'm very thankful for that. But I can tell you that is possible. You just have to address the deficiencies that are going on in the body. Intracellular micronutrient deficiencies are wreaking havoc on people right now. They're causing gut issues like irritable bowel syndrome and Crohn's disease. They're causing heart conditions. They're causing thyroid issues. Major issues are happening. So you have to address that puzzle piece. And toxicities. So if the body is toxic in something and it cannot adapt, then it cannot purge. And so you're left with a body that cannot purge toxins. And so now you're hanging on to weight. Now your brain isn't releasing ghrelin and leptin like it's supposed to, which are those hormones that tell your body to lose fat. Now your neurosynapses aren't firing like they should, so that leads to depression. And we think, well, I'll just take a medication for it, or I'll just load my body up with antioxidants and supplements. But wait, you haven't removed the cause yet. You haven't gotten to the cause. So I'm going to explain, there's only one cause to the body being sick. There's only one cause. Ready? First, okay, I'll preface with this. Pathology is mythology. Pathology is mythology, meaning you could have anything going on in the body. Fibromyalgia could be called booga-booga-algia. Cancer could be called something totally different. All it is your body is not responding properly. So MFBA is my body's falling apart. That is the only reason why anything is happening, is the body is falling apart. It doesn't know what to do. It's always trying to go back to homeostasis, but it doesn't know what to do. So now you have to make sure that you're giving it the right resources, that you're giving it the right nutrients, that you're having the proper testing done, that you know that your body isn't deficient or toxic in something, and now you're addressing the cause. And that is what we stand for at Designer Health Centers, addressing the cause. And it is so important that you address that. Your body is raisin bread. You think I'm crazy right now? Your body is raisin bread. I'm going to teach you 101. This is body 101. Your body is raisin bread. Really simple. The raisins are cells. The bread is extracellular matrix. Again, booga booga matrix. It's just stuff. right? So it's just cells and it's just stuff. And the only thing the medical model can do to a cell is cut or poison it. That's all it can do. It can't feed it, it can't nourish it, it can't detoxify it, it can't oxygenate it, it can't do anything to that cell. And that is the lie that a lot of times people fall into, is that they're gonna get better because they're going into the medical system. It's just not true. It's not actually addressing the cell. And so we have to start addressing the cell, because chronic degenerative disease is not the same as a mechanical trauma. So if your arm was taken off in a car accident, or you have a severe, let's just say, like, you've lost some teeth, or you lost an eye or something like that, and you go into the medical system, they will fix you. Absolutely, go today. I mean, you need to be there, right? But if you're trying to address a chronic degenerative disease, it can never help with this, because it can only lead to a drug or a surgery. World Health Organization says there's 12,800 types of diseases. There's 1,000 skin disorders. Guess what? That is wrong. There is not 12,800 diseases. It's simply pathology. We're just calling it something. It's just the body not working right. That's all it is. We've just thought of names for it. And so when you know that the body isn't working right because it needs something, then you know how to address it. And this always speaks volumes to me. Steve Jobs, being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. He spent all his money. He spent obviously not all of it. Don't get me wrong, he still had plenty left, but he spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to try and get his body well. And in the end, they couldn't do anything for him. Chemotherapy, the best neurosurgeons in the world, the best chemo doctors in the world could not do anything for him. Jim Fixx, the inventor of jogging, one of the healthiest guys on the planet. Looking healthy and feeling healthy does not mean you're healthy. He dropped dead of a heart attack at 46 years old. He was the guy who made jogging popular. His friends would say he wouldn't drink an ounce of alcohol. He would never have anything bad at dinner, and everybody else is drinking and smoking, and he drops dead at 46. So when you ask yourself, am I healthy? It's not how you feel. When you ask yourself, am I going to be healthy? It's not how much money you have. The solution is very, very simple. You have to look at the underlying cause of why your body is sick and diseased and not functioning properly. Or even better, before those things happen, take a look at what's happening. Meaning, it's not how you feel. So even if you feel great, look at your testing. Find out what the body is doing. And I don't mean just a blood test. I mean, are you looking at heavy metals that are actually blocking detoxification pathways? Are you looking at intracellular micronutrient deficiencies? Are you looking at your gut health, your parasites, and the bacteria that are forming in your gut? Are you paying attention to your neurotransmitters from brain to body, your dopamine, your serotonin? Are you paying attention to all those things that make up the building blocks of the body? Because a healthy life is simple. It's simply having a vision and knowing that what does your life look like the next 10, 20 years? And are you doing the proper things? Not just eating right, not just exercising, because we know that there are tens of thousands of people in health food stores right now that have cancer and that have heart disease and have been eating organic their whole life, but still get those things. My aunt was one of them. She was the most healthy person on the planet as far as eating. I mean, it was my uncle's family, and she still got cancer. So it's happening around us. We just need to know that there is a way to prevent it. You just need to find out what the body needs, what it's deficient in, what it's toxic in. So what we're doing tonight is we are doing a winter makeover. And that means that I am going to be going through 3 essential components of how to avoid disease and stay vibrant for the rest of your life. This is for weight loss. This is for avoiding premature aging. This is for increasing concentration. This is for addressing systemic things going on in the body. And the free body toxic analysis is $250. We're going to be giving that to you tonight. The 45-minute customized makeover is $397. And then we're going to be adding a bonus. I'm going to be adding my personal, customized meal plan specifically geared for you. And that is $129. We're going to be doing all that. I think my screen just disappeared, so I apologize for that. We're going to be doing all of that. I'm going to get back to my slide here. Hopefully you can see it. We're going to be doing all of that, not for $776. We're going to be doing it for $197. So you can go in the box to the right, the offering box to the right. You're not going to be putting in an offering. It's an offer for you. And Santa's pretty happy about it. You can tell he's holding up a drink there. It's organic, trust me. There's no artificial sweeteners in there, no artificial colors, organic pineapple on the top there. Toast to you, but we would love to see you. We would love to help you. We would love to explain to you how to step into your best life yet. And this is our season. This is your season. This is a time where we are going to be going after our health full force. And I am so excited for you. I am so excited for the path that you're on. I'm so excited and honored to spend this time with you. I don't take it for granted. When I look back on my life, these are the times that I remember. I'm going to remember sharing things with people. I'm going to remember just laying it all out on the line, right? And I hope you can do that this holiday season for somebody. I hope that you can lay it all on the line, leave yourself in the dust, and really help somebody, and keep the focus on humanity, because we have a lot to live for. We have a lot to be grateful for. We have a lot of blessings around us, and I'm so thankful for your life. I'm so thankful to be able to work with you. Thank you, everybody that's signing up right now. Thank you. That's awesome. Really, really looking forward to helping all of you. And so thank you for being on the call. Appreciate your time once again. Many blessings. Thrive. Get your exercising in, get your nutrition on track. Make sure that you are food journaling, and make sure that you're not eating too much junk food with family, but definitely enjoy the holidays. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.